I'm Neymar, and what I'm about to share with you is not only a transformative experience, but a lesson that could save your portfolio and protect your financial future. This is not financial advice, but it could change the way you look at money, investments, and most importantly, the power of the decisions we make in times of overconfidence. If you've ever lost money on an investment or felt trapped by financial decisions beyond your control, I invite you to listen to my story. I have always been a confident person, especially when it came to my career and personal life. Victories on the soccer field and million-dollar contracts gave me the impression that everything I touched turned to gold. It's not easy to explain how that feeling of invulnerability can become your greatest weakness, but I want to be transparent. Success can blind you. When everything seems to be under control, we often ignore the danger signs that are right there in front of us, waiting to be recognized. It all started with a proposal. It was an innovative investment, a project backed by advanced technology and led by experts who promised guaranteed success. I was offered the opportunity to be part of a select group of investors, those privileged ones who would be at the top of a financial revolution. From the beginning, everything was designed to seduce me. The perfect graphics, the technical language full of confidence, and the insistence that my participation was not only desired but necessary created an irresistible atmosphere. I decided to act. I invested millions, convinced that I was making the right decision. I did not research in depth. I did not ask enough outside opinions, and most importantly, I did not question the intentions of those who offered me the opportunity. In my mind, my previous success protected me from any risk. It was a dangerous combination of narcissism and overconfidence, one that was about to cost me dearly. The first few weeks were exciting. Earnings reports came in like clockwork, showing steady growth that reinforced my resolve. Every call, every meeting was filled with optimism, and the executives behind the project seemed to have everything under control. I convinced myself that I was ahead of the rest of the world, that I had made a decision that would strengthen my wealth and my legacy. But as my confidence grew, warning signs began to emerge. The first problems arose in the form of seemingly insignificant fluctuations. Yields began to fall, but the experts assured me that it was part of the nature of the market, something temporary. Nothing to worry about, they said with a calm smile. My intuition told me that something was not right, but I chose to ignore it. It was easier to believe that everything would work out, that there was no way I was making a mistake. What was really happening was something more complex. I was being manipulated not only by the people behind the project, but also by my own ego. Over time, the downturns intensified. Numbers that were once green and promising turned red and worrisome. My need to maintain the image of someone in control, to not show vulnerability or weakness, pushed me to wait. I didn't want to admit that I had made a mistake. That mix of narcissism and fear trapped me in a spiral of denial. Every day that passed without taking action, without facing reality, I seemed to be digging a deeper hole. The manipulation was not only external, it was also internal. I convinced myself that everything was temporary, that the markets would recover, that the experts knew what they were doing. But every decision I made in that state of denial only made things worse. Financial gaslighting, that internal voice that justifies every loss as a necessary sacrifice to achieve future success, became my worst enemy. Finally, the breaking point came. It was impossible to keep denying the obvious. I had lost millions on an investment that was never what was promised. The impact was devastating, not only on my bank account, but also on my confidence. I faced a crisis that questioned everything I knew about myself, about my ability to make decisions, and about my relationship with money. It was at that moment that I decided that I could not allow myself to continue in that state. I needed to learn, change, and regain control. I began to study, to understand how finance really works, and to identify manipulative tactics that I had previously ignored. I learned about diversification, risk management, and how to set clear limits. But most importantly, I learned how to manage my emotions. I understood that in the investment world, your worst enemy is not the market, it is yourself. Emotions, cognitive biases, and the need for validation can lead you to make catastrophic decisions if you are not aware of them. I learned to see money not as a symbol of success, but as a tool that requires care, discipline, and a clear strategy. I also realized that the financial system is designed to take advantage of our vulnerabilities. From the technical language that hides risks to the social pressure that pushes us to make quick and emotional decisions, everything is made to keep us trapped. The most important thing I did was to invest in myself. I took courses, hired counselors, and surrounded myself with people who were not afraid to challenge me and point out my mistakes. Humility became an essential tool in my recovery. Understanding that even someone successful can make mistakes was liberating and allowed me to move forward with more clarity. Today, I can say that although the loss was significant, the lesson I learned was invaluable. I discovered that true success is not measured by what you have, but by what you learn from your mistakes and how you apply that learning to improve your life. My story is not just about loss. It's about resilience, about turning failure into an opportunity to grow. I want to share this story with you because I know I am not the only one who has faced something like this. We are all vulnerable to manipulative tactics, financial gaslighting, and our own emotions. But I also know that we all have the ability to learn, to adapt, and to take control of our financial future. If this confession resonated with you, I invite you to reflect on your own relationship with money and your financial decisions. Share this video with someone who may need to hear this story. Subscribe, leave a comment, and join this community of learning and growth. Because together we can build a more informed, stronger, and more successful future. Remember, true success is not in avoiding mistakes, but in learning from them and using them as a springboard to something better.